Okay, all systems go. Hello, it's Linda here, and Minna. Minna is here too. And welcome to day 3 of Lunchtime Crochet. So say hi in the comments if you're in the Zoom, and if you're in the Facebook group, say hi. No, if you're in Zoom, say hi in the chat. If you're in Facebook, say hi in the comments and ask me any questions you've got as we go through this. Hopefully Minna is not going to be quite as participatory today as she was yesterday. We'll see. She was quite vocal yesterday, which she does do sometimes. Not always good, but kind of funny. And we're going to turn a skein into a ball. So I've got this one here. I'm just going to flip my camera around so you can see my hands, and we will go through doing that. Let's go. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. There we go. So I suppose before I forget, Social Crochet is on today as well, which is always fun. I love Social Crochet. We started it during lockdown 1 and have kept it going. It's just nice to sit and crochet with some other people that love crocheting. You can ask questions and just nice and relaxed, and you can participate as much as you like or as little as you like. And yeah, lots of fun. We never know what we're gonna talk about. We just go where the conversation goes, and we always end up Googling something, whether it's making butter or dandelions or who knows. It's always interesting. And the thing I really love, I love chatting with other people that love crocheting, but also love seeing what everyone else is making as well. So there you go. And Minna's nose has joined us today. She's always, she does that every now and again. Okay, so I have a skein of Homely Bliss. So Homely Bliss is our chunky Australian merino wool yarn. It is fully grown and processed in Australia. It doesn't go offshore at all. And it's uniquely made. See how it looks a little bit ropish? That's the twist in the fiber in the yarn. And what twist does in terms of wool yarns is, so wool has all these microscopic little fibers, and when they're twisted together, it holds them all together and keeps them in place. And that means that you don't end up covered in fluff. And it limits the amount of pilling. It is a natural fiber, so you are going to get a tiny bit of pilling, but I've used this yarn again and again and again and again, and the pilling only happens a little bit with a lot of use. So fabulous yarn that you can use like literally for years and years and years. And I've got some yarn that I design with, and so I'm crocheting, pulling it out, crocheting, pulling it out with all different kinds of blankets, and it's still going strong. So this is a quality yarn, and I love using it. It feels amazing, which I think is part of the fact that it's a premium merino wool. But also, like, it's made with love. It's grown in Australia by farmers, and it's processed here in Australia using quality methods and people that love what they do. So very special yarn. Okay, so we're going to turn this skein into a ball so you can crochet with it, which if you've never had a skein before in front of you, or if you can remember back to the first time you had a skein in front of you. For me, it was a skein of silk, and I'd bought this silk. I was going to crochet this top, and I did crochet the top and I wore the top, but I got this beautiful skein of silk, and I was like, what do I do with this? I've never had a skein before. So you will need a set of scissors, and you'll need your skein. And if you're doing the warm heart blanket, you will have 6 of these to do. So we're just going to do 1 today, but you can sit down and enjoy doing the rest. Remember, ask me any questions that you've got as we go through. Okay, I did that without talking, explaining to you do. So a skein is basically a big circle of yarn that's twisted, and then one end goes in through the other end. So you can see here, here's one end and here's the other. So if I pull those apart, you'll see the circle. Just untwist this and there, and open it right up. Okay, now open yours right up and lie it out flat in front of you, whether it's on your lap, or on a table in front of you. And the secret is, the thing we're aiming for is to turn it into a ball, but to turn it into a ball without getting it tangled. And the secret is to keep this circle nice and open and to take this really slowly when you're pulling the yarn out of the circle. So open your circle right up. I'm actually going to pull mine in so you can see the important bits and Minna's nose. There we go. She's going to she loves snuggling into blankets and wool. She'll probably snuggle into the skein. She loves putting her nose under something. Okay. So now that you've got your skein opened out in the circle, you will see that there are 3 ties around it like this. If you've got a mini skein, you'll just have one, and it will just be this one that's like this, where the 2 ends are tied together. So you'll see the tie around the yarn is the same size as the yarn. And with these 2, you'll see they're a little bit smaller. So the one that's the same size as the yarn is the 2 ends of the yarn. And these 2 smaller ones are just temporary bits of yarn that are just holding it together to stop it from getting tangled. So with these 2 smaller ones, grab your scissors and just snip the small bit of yarn. Be careful you don't want to snip the yarn that's in the circle, because otherwise you've just cut your yarn and then you've got some ends to deal with. So just carefully snip that there, just the tie, and then wiggle that tie out with your fingers and then put that into the bin. And then do the same with this one. So snip that there and then wiggle that out. And there we go. So I'm going to make my warm heart blanket with the olive green yarn. I was like, what color haven't I made in the warm heart blanket? And it was olive green, which is a lovely kind of nature inspired green. It reminds me of tree leaves. And I think it's going to be beautiful to use in lockdown and crochet with in lockdown. Okay, so we've got 1 tie left. And if you've got a mini skein, you've just got this 1 tie. So the mini skeins are 100 grams and the big skeins are 300 grams. The yarn is exactly the same. It's just the length of yarn and the weight of yarn that's different. Okay, so with your tie that's the same size as the yarn and it's the 2 ends tied together, have a look at it until you find the join, and there's a knot there, and generally there's a fray bit of yarn on the end. Snip that one off under the knot like that. And you've got 2 ends here that have just come loose when I've snipped them, and then trace them back and you'll find another knot. Carefully, carefully, carefully tracing them back and undo that knot. Just pull it apart like that. Fabulous. Okay, and then keeping your skein nice and open, have a look at your 2 ends and where they sit like amongst the yarn. So I can see this one here is coming out. Okay, it's kind of coming out from the center. Oh, nope, here it goes across the top. So I'm going to just straighten things around here. What we're looking for is the end that's going to be easiest to roll into a ball and like come away from the skein the easiest and not get too tangled. So I've actually got two good ends here. Maybe this one is looking like it's coming from the bottom, so I might leave it down there on the bottom, because the one that's coming out from the top is definitely going to be easier to unwind. and not get tangled. So remember to keep your circle nice and open. I'm keeping mine just a little bit close just so you can see it. And so now the ball rolling begins. And so when I roll the yarn into a ball, what I do is I get the end and I carefully pull some out. Just take your time. There's no rush. Pull that out like that. So just gently unwind some. Don't try and do it all. So I've got a little bit of a knotty bit going on here. And if you do get a bit of a knotty bit, it's not coming out real easily. Just carefully, there we go. It's just two bits that were intertwined. So unwind a bit, and then what I do is I put that into the middle. And then I roll that into the ball. And when I've used up all this, I unwind a bit more very carefully, keep rolling the ball and just do it that way. So it's a lovely opportunity to kind of feel the yarn before you start crocheting. So how to wind it into a ball. There's all different kinds of ways. There's no right or wrong way. So if you've got a favorite way, do it that way. Otherwise, this is how I start off. I wrap the yarn around my fingers a couple of times. And then I pull that off my fingers and I wrap around the middle just once or twice. And then I fold that in half. And that looks like it's kind of like the center of a ball, like the middle, just something to wrap around to start with. And then I just start wrapping. So winding the yarn around the ball, and there's no bonus points to having the most beautiful ball of yarn, because we're just going to crochet from it and pull it apart. So don't worry if it doesn't look like a perfect sphere. The important thing is that it's going to be easy to unwind and crochet into a ball. So keep winding the ball like that. And then when you've used up all your yarn that's in the center, unwind a bit more. So just carefully unwinding from your circle of yarn. Carefully, carefully. The good thing is if you do end up with a bit of a knot happening in as you're unwinding, chunky yarn is easier to get out of the knot because it's bigger. And just start with your ball and just follow that back along and keep putting it under the loops until you get your knot untangled. And then keep winding. Winding, winding, winding. Now Minna has gone to sleep on my lap. She's so lovely and warm. She's the best little lockdown buddy. She's the best anytime buddy. She's definitely my shadow, but definitely good company during lockdown. And then keep unwinding. There we go. So when I unwind a skein of standard size yarn, I actually use a yarn swift and a ball winder. But because the chunky yarn is so big, it doesn't work the best with the ball winders. Most of them don't have the kind of the eyelet that's big enough for chunky yarn. So and it's just, to be completely honest, because the yarn is quite big, it's just as easy to not use any additional equipment and just lie out the skein in front of you and just wind up by hand. And then you've got the beautiful tactile experience of using the yarn. And it's a great kind of another great mindfulness practice in crocheting. Just focus on what you're doing, breathe deeply, and enjoy the feel of the wool. So with the Homely Bliss, you will find the occasional bit of organic matter through it, so like little bits of grass. And that's just a beautiful connection back to what the sheep was eating when it was growing the wool that we're using. And it's such a special link back to the land that the sheep was on and what it was consuming to grow the wool. And keep unwinding, unwinding, put that in the center, and then keep winding. Oops, sorry about that. Unwind into the center and then wind into the ball. And do you have any questions about winding skeins into balls? Any questions or comments? Just pop them into the comments or the chat now. If you're in Zoom, feel free to unmute yourself and ask. So in tomorrow's session, Monday, we're going to be doing hearts again. And that's just to allow some time for your kits to arrive, your warm heart blanket kits to arrive. And hearts are fun. I love crocheting hearts. I did 2 rhubarb ones yesterday, and I might do two different colors tomorrow. Maybe just one color. Anyhow, I'll mix the colors up. I won't do rhubarb tomorrow. Let's see what I do. I was going to say something else. Oh yes, so if back to the kits, if you haven't already ordered your kit, so the 15% off for all our kits ends tonight. And the code for that is lockdown, all one word. And what else ends tonight? Oh, the 15% off the Homely Bliss yarn. And the code for that is May, so the month of May. And that ends tonight as well. And once I'm finished this session, I'm going to pack up all the orders that have come through over the weekend. So thank you to everyone that's ordered. Your orders will all be going out tomorrow at about lunchtime. We will get those on the way to you. And there is free express shipping for Australian orders that are over $200 and for international orders that are over $300. Otherwise, it's free standard shipping. And I am almost finished my skein. Look at that. Almost, a little bit there. No tangles, which is good. Sometimes I get tangles. And actually, if there's the time I'm most likely to end up with a tangle is like when I get to the end like this, and I kind of get a little bit complacent with being careful about unwinding, and then I end up with a tangle. Winding, winding, winding. Nearly there, look at that. Oh, Minna's woken up again now. There we go. I'm almost at the end. And when I get to the end of the ball, where's my end? Here it is. I just tuck that in, tuck that under a few bits of yarn that go around. That keeps it nice and secure. And this is ready to crochet from. So I've got another 5 of these to do. And when we go through the videos over the next couple of days, so tomorrow we're doing hearts, then Tuesday we'll do the foundation chain, like the very bottom, the casting on, if you're using knitting terminology. The very start of the blanket we'll do on Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll do the first row and we'll do that using treble stitches. We'll do a turning chain and then a treble stitch. I'm going to explain all of how to do these. I'm going to swap my camera around while I'm talking. I'm going to explain how to do all of these as we go. So don't worry if all this terminology sounds a bit foreign and uncertain. So then we'll go, so we do foundation chain, then we do the first row, and then we'll do the second row, and then we repeat row 1 and 2, and we'll just keep crocheting and crocheting and crocheting. And you've got some homework once we get into just crocheting and crocheting and crocheting of targets to do each day. So these replays are available for you to watch on the Homely Lass website. And you'll find that link. That link is on the homepage. Actually, it's on every page, right up the top. It says, join us in Lunchtime Crochet, find out more. Click on the find out more. So you can always find the replays if you can't join us live. Yeah, so bring your questions if you've got them tomorrow and ask me those. And join me tomorrow at 12 noon, which is Australian Eastern Standard Time. If you're not in Victoria, you're more than welcome to join us. 12 noon, and we'll crochet some hearts. Lovely way to start the week. Oh, now Minna's really waking up. You're going to say goodbye, sweetie pie. Say bye. And Social Crochet is on today. If you don't have the link for that one, it's on at 4 p.m. I didn't say that before, did I? It's on at 4 p.m. on Zoom. It's only on Zoom. So if you got the Lunchtime Crochet reminder, email reminder, you've got the link to it in there. Otherwise, just pop me an email or a message or a web chat and I'll send you the link. So hope you have a beautiful day and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Minna will see you tomorrow too. Bye.